Gordon, thanks very much for taking a bit of time to sit down and speak with me. It was announced that you'll be stepping down off the board. Can you just give us a little bit of your thoughts about the reasoning for that and now the timing as well?
I just felt the time was right. I've been here 7 years again. My influence over the last maybe couple of years has obviously been less, and I tend to be a kind of all in or all out kind of guy. I've hung about for a couple of years just to kind of make sure things went as smoothly as I hoped. Everybody's kind of obviously contributed to that, so I just felt the time was right. There's no other reason other than it's time to step aside and let somebody else have a go at it.
Is it a difficult decision for you given how long you've been associated with the club?
It's a difficult decision to make, but it's one that I think I needed a break. When I stepped down from being chairman and being part owner of the club, I felt like maybe I'd be a little less stressed about watching games, and I wouldn't feel the hangover when we lost the game for a couple of days afterwards, and it's not really happened. I still feel as passionate, and I still feel as affected by results. I don't think that will change, the passion won't change, but hopefully I'll be able to enjoy my Saturday nights and Sundays a bit better now.
When you look over the past 7 years, it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride. What do you take from the last 7 years?
It was a roller coaster, but it's always been forward moving. But when you think we took over, we were bottom of the championship, and every year from there, but from that moment onwards, we've moved forward to a position where we are now, where we're not just in the top six, we've been challenging for the top six for the last 3 years, so it's not just a freak one-off, and we can continue to do that going forward.
How much pride do you take on that journey over the last 7 years?
I take an immense amount of pride, but obviously it's not me. I've been helped by a lot of people, and I've relied on a lot of people, the board, the staff, the managers we've had, everything. So it's an immense amount of pride, but I'm very conscious it's not just me, it's obviously a lot of other people as well.
Given that you said you're an all-in type of guy, and given everything that goes with running a football club, I don't know if this is potentially the correct word to say, but how much have you maybe enjoyed the last 7 years?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, even the bad times, you find a way through, and it's been really enjoyable. I've enjoyed every minute of it. Even the bad times at the start when you're getting abuse and Clyde, and I mean, I've deliberately avoided social media like the plague, because I don't think anybody could handle social media nowadays and listen to all the noise. So no, I've enjoyed it immensely.
Yeah, and is there any particular highlights, anything that stands out over the last 7 years as the sort of the key highlight for you?
I think when things kind of turned, I felt the game against the New Saints. I felt at that point things turned. Up until that point, it was a battle. You were constantly fighting. You were constantly changing things, and I felt at that point the tide turned, and from then on, it was just onwards and upwards.
Where do you see things now as a club 7 years on?
I think we're now in a position where we're fan owned. The board is a good board, a good bunch of guys. We're in a much stronger position, I think, in terms of being a club that can survive without relying on individuals and relying on an individual. I think if you take somebody out the board now, you can put somebody in. If you take somebody out the club now, you can replace them. I think the club's in a really good place right now. Even the managers, we've actually been really fortunate. I mean, a lot of folk have said we went through a lot of managers in the last 5 years, but when you think of most of those managers have left us rather than us just leaving them, and there's very few clubs probably who actually have got a positive income on managers over the last 7 years as compared to us.
You've said there that the club's in a good place in terms of you could take not relying on one single person. How important do you think that's been to get to that point?
It's been very important, but it's been tough. I mean, the last 2 years has been really tough on everybody, I think. And it's something we need to be very conscious of, because there's a lot of noise going on just now, and a lot of it is reacting to things that happened a year ago that have been fixed and processes have been put in place which make sure it will never happen again. And if we are going to try and get people to come on the board and take the flak, then there needs to be a bit of realisation that it's not an easy job, and you'd never know all the facts, you never know what's happening behind the scenes. You've just got to trust the people who are running the club if they continue to do a good job. What's
the plans for you now then? Do you jet off into the sunshine and leave St Mirren forever, or are you still going to be about?
I'll still be about. I'll still come to a lot of games. I've always been building over in Spain. Vegas is kind of falling by the wayside now, but my main kind of business now is building houses in Spain. I really enjoy that. I'll need to find something to keep me occupied over here as well. But no, I'm looking forward to even more time in the sun.
Do you feel like your support changes now that you're off the board, and there maybe feels like there's less pressure and you can be more of a supporter, or do you think it's just always been the same?
I'm always, even when I first came on the board all that time ago, I was playing amateur football and I wanted to follow St Mirren again, but I felt like I couldn't just follow. I need to be involved, I need to try and help and influence, and I still want to be involved. I still want to be around the club. I still think I'll be as committed to the club as any other supporter.
I know it's obviously very difficult to predict the future, but if you look over the past 7 years, what do you think the next 7 years maybe look like for St Mirren?
I think the challenge now is to continue what we've got in place just now, push towards Europe. We've now got top six again. You want to be challenging every year. You want to be in a position where we're challenging for Europe as well. I do think if we'd got Europe this year, maybe it's a little too soon, because you see a lot of clubs struggling. I think I'd rather have another year, although that's maybe a defence mechanism we've all got as St Mirren fans, but I'd like to have another year where we can build a stronger team, and then if we do get into Europe, we're maybe better positioned to handle it.
Well, Gordon, congratulations on everything you've achieved over the last 7 years, and good luck.
Thank you, and thank you for your time as well.